Awesome.
Mike.
How you doing, Andre?
Excellent, thank you. How about you?
Doing good, thank you. Take a seat right here.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna get going. Sorry for the office change. We had a leak at our other space, so now we have to be here. But hopefully it works out well.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I like it. Thank
Awesome.
you. Good
Awesome.
choice. Good taste.
Thank you. So last week we're gonna start building a little bit off our last week, and kind of the weeks prior as well. We talked about some of your financial aid difficulties and this process of getting through the rest of your schooling. So I know I gave you some homework. We went over some stuff.
Yes, and I
you wanna
appreciate it.
Walk me through what we did for that.
Yes. Your homework assignment to me was to list 5 to 10 potential donors and swiftly and quickly ask them to tell them about my situation and ask them for help. And I haven't did that. And so far, let's see here. I want to be as precise as I could. So, okay, as a result of me executing that homework assignment, it's caused me to, a lot of my donors are like, they're not just donors, but they're actually like mentors, and they help me to think through various options, including one of which is I don't think I've ever told you, I have a nonprofit called Israel Organic Missions Incorporated.
Okay. No, I don't think we've gone over that before.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I haven't told you about that. And by the grace of God, I have a really gifted secretary, whereby all I do is really give her like notes, like I update her on notes and what's going on in my life and whatnot, and then she crafts it into like a nice professional story for our audience.
That's
and
amazing.
I'm very grateful for her. So one of my mentors that I called told me he wants me to get a newsletter out because I have 150 contacts for the newsletter that we've been doing for years now. And in the process of us doing this newsletter, we've not only like built our contact list, we've also been one step at a time building a nonprofit, meaning getting the nonprofit to come into fruition, because to become an established 501c3, there's steps, and we've been working to that and diligently. So we're in a nutshell, as a result of my homework assignment, I've been proactive on continuing to get the ball rolling on the nonprofit, plus making sure I'm getting a nicely devised newsletter out explaining my situation to the 150 contacts who will potentially donate. And moreover, not only are we doing that, I've also reached out to like other potential donors that has donated in the past, and so far I've gotten like positive interest. Like one is definitely going to donate some, and another person might potentially donate some more as well. So that's definitely got some stuff going.
Yeah. So that homework has kind of allowed you to realize what resources you already have access to as well. I mean, it's almost pushed you towards more paths to go down to kind of figure out this funding issue.
Yes.
And it's also helped you with the newsletter stuff and furthering that other not motive. Endeavor. That's the word I was looking for. Another endeavor in your life.
Yeah, which is perfectly aligned with my goals and my journey and whatnot. So thank you once again for the homework assignment.
I'm glad it's doing well for you. I'm glad. So you said that you've been getting positive feedback so far. What does that kind of look like?
Let's see here. My coach from high school.
The basketball coach?
We
talked about in the second session.
Yeah. Good memory. Yes. So he actually, like, without me even asking him, like, he said like how he got a new email address. He said, "Hey Andre, I didn't think." He said literally today. He said, "Happy Easter, Andre. Praise Jesus." And I've been thinking about you lately, and I want to let you know that I got a different email address. And he sent me the email address, and he said, also, could you send me a link to donate to your ministry? without me even asking.
Yeah. Could be a sign of the Lord working, right?
Yeah.
So you've had people reaching out to you. That's good. Have you gotten any donations yet, or are we still in the process of kind of talking to people and?
Yeah, still in the process of talking. One definite donation coming is from him.
Okay.
And then another one that's most likely another person sort of similar to him without me even asking. She asked me for like something like the donation link or something of that nature.
More information
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's good. How has that kind of affected your stress levels with this situation so far?
In a positive way.
In a positive way?
Yeah, by way of, like you said, like I feel like, God is telling me, I see you, I'm here, and yeah, let's take this one step at a time. You're doing a good job. Continue.
Yeah. Do you feel it's more of the problem shrinking, or you're gaining control over it?
Good question. Wow. I would say both.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So you're going to keep going forward with the same thing and moving forward with contacting more. You said the 150 on your newsletter. Those are people that you can reach out to as well.
Yes.
Okay. What do you have a plan in place to kind of start reaching out to them? Is it going to be? You said your secretary was great at transcribing and writing up some of these notices to be sent out.
Right.
Are you going to be sending something like that out to your newsletter as well, or what are we doing with those? I think that's a great resource that you have, and it'd be good to tap into that as well.
Right. So what it's going to look like? She said either on Tuesday or Thursday of next week, the newsletter will be sent out to all 150 contacts.
Perfect.
And I appreciate you asking like how that's going to look like, because now I'm starting to think, okay, not only should that's one reach, but I could also follow up with potential out of the 150. There's some people I have in mind that I could follow up with.
Yeah.
And tell them about my situation, who I know would be at the least bit interested to pray with me and brainstorm.
Yeah, especially because some people will see a newsletter and it won't necessarily dawn on them what is the content of it, but if you have those relationships built up, you can sometimes sneak behind the newsletter almost and kind of get in without the newsletter, So I think that's also that's a good approach that you have as well.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be helpful for you as well. So I'm glad that we're kind of making headway during towards that goal.
Yeah.
How are other things? What else has been going on since last time? It was last week? 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
What's been going on the last 2-3 weeks?
Well, since we're on it, like if you don't mind, can we stay on this?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Because you're helping me even think about more stuff too.
Yeah, of course.
So, but if we can later on, if we have time, we can jump to something else. Okay. So while like you asked a good question, do I feel like the problem is decreasing, or do I have more control over it? And I said both. So while that's a positive element to that, like yes to both of those questions, I still from a human plane, in light of I feel like God's presence and God's affirmation, God's validation I'm doing right.
Yeah.
Still on the human plane, it's still like a huge obstacle, because the money that needs to be raised by today's the April.
Today is the 20th.
The 20th? Yeah. And the semester ends in like 2 weeks or so? 3 weeks?
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much that's the due date whereby if I was to take out loans, I would have to take it out within the next 3 weeks. So in light of that, that's still something I need to be thinking about.
Yeah. So you're kind of, if we're taking away the spiritual side and the comforting and the I guess the emotional and the spiritual relaxation.
Right.
I guess it's still, we're sitting in the real world. There's a real world problem. How do we get a hold of that?
Yeah.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay. That would make sense. I understand that as well. I think that's the thing that a lot of people can struggle with sometimes, especially with faith. And I think it's a test. It can be a test of faith, and it can just be a natural part of faith, in that we ask for a miracle to happen, and because we don't see it initially and it doesn't appear in front of us, we're praying for money and to continue education, and if that money doesn't just appear in your bedside table, it can be kind of hard to see how it's going to unfold. So I think that makes sense. I think it's okay that you're feeling that way.
Thank you.
What do you think that you can be doing in the real world outside of praying? And what do you think? Because I think that could be helpful with this as well. This is what can we do in the immediate with ourselves, with our hands? What can we do?
What else can I do? I don't know. Besides, like, proactively doing what I just said about the, the contact list and reaching out.
Mhm.
Besides that, and of course, pray, which you already said. Besides prayer, what do you think? Because I can't think of anything else.
I think you have a good plan right now. I think you have taken the right steps, and I think part of the reason why some of this stress is feeling so real is because you've made these plans and you have these actions that you're going to take, but you're not doing them right now because you have to wait until Tuesday or Thursday of next week. You said, and I think when you have sort of like a building momentum towards something, and then when it stops because you have to wait for a product launch or a newsletter to go out, it can be difficult because now you're waiting again.
Yeah.
You don't see the results immediately from what your planning and your thought has been so far. So I think immediately I would tell you to be patient. I think that you've taken the right steps forward and that you have a plan of action. I think that's a great first step to do. I think you also need to realize you have 3 more weeks. That's a lot of time.
Oh wow, well, you're extremely encouraging because I'm thinking like it's not a lot of time, but keep going.
I think it is
keep
a lot
going
of time
because you're extremely encouraging.
I'm trying to encourage you, but also, it is a lot of time if you make use of it.
Right. Yeah.
There's a caveat there, obviously,
Yeah.
but you are making use of it,
Yeah.
as we talked about. So, I think I think you're on the right path with what you're doing right now. So, as much as I want to say, why are you worried? You're doing things that are going to help. So you have to. You can't be planting a tree and be worried about if it's going to grow fruit when you haven't planted the tree yet. Your tree's still sitting on the ground.
Right.
So I think that you can't be worried about that yet. You have things going in motion. It's just about how many more trees are you going to plant.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's helpful.
I hope so.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah. Thank you.
So that's why I've asked you a couple times now. What else can we be doing?
Right.
I know another part of our homework assignment was to kind of go over what the loans would look like and how much did you go through that?
I tried. I actually I looked at the loan option, and for some reason, I know I did it in the past. And I thought I went to the same place, and I couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't have any tangible information to share with you in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
I have a general idea of what it looks like because I looked at it at the beginning of the semester.
Yeah.
But when I intentionally went to look at it again, I didn't see it in the self-service part of where I usually go to. I don't know. It's probably hidden somewhere. I just gotta find that button or something.
Yeah. Do you think that there's something stopping you from finding it?
Something stopping me?
Mm-hmm.
In the spiritual realm, or
no, not necessarily. Just I think that you're a very focused person, and when you say you're going to do something, it sounds like you do it.
Yeah.
So I think you went and looked. I don't know how hard you looked.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say you didn't look, but
Right.
do you think there's something you don't want to see it? There's some worry there. Is there something like that? Is what I'm getting at.
Okay. Well, yeah. As you know, that's my. I don't want to. That's not something I want to do. Take out loans, but that didn't when I looked for it. I didn't. That wasn't what I was just looking for. I was really looking for.
Sure. Yeah.
I could have. I'm not too concerned. I have a general idea of what it's looking like, so I'm not. And that's something I know I could I have like, I could always call the school and
Yeah, of
have
course.
help. So that's something I know I could, if I wanted like precise numbers, I could
Yeah.
get that Monday when the office open.
Yeah.
So I'm not too
That makes
concerned about like the precise numbers. One, because I have a general idea, and two, I know if I really need, I could get it.
Mhm.
Well, I did find it odd that I wasn't able to see it when
Yeah.
I did try to actually look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying you didn't try to look for it. I was just wondering if maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
Do you think that finding that number and kind of knowing exactly what could happen or what that path looks like could be helpful for you? As in with you said the real world
Mhm.
problem is still weighing on you. Do you think that would maybe help you prepare yourself a little bit for that?
Sure.
Or,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
So maybe before next time we try to get that exactly figured out.
You know what's another interesting, ironic element? Like I know you haven't did it yet. You're gonna do it. Our journal assignment.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we have to analyze. We have like 6 statements to analyze, and one of them is, like we're acting as if a client is telling us, okay, I have an option of taking out a loan, and so something like that. Yeah, so you'll see what I'm talking about when you do it.
Yeah.
So that's ironic. But anyway, yeah, being more precise with the numbers will be helpful.
Okay, let's try and get that done.
Yeah.
I think, like we've kind of gone over. I think you have taken steps and you have a plan, and I think some of your anxiety and kind of the weight on your shoulders is could be from some of the unknowing of exactly right.
Right.
And one of the things we talked about last session was kind of preparing for the alternative.
Yes.
Which in this case is taking the loans. So I think exploring that a little bit could be helpful.
Right.
And then at that point too, it's also, let's say you get half of the donors, or half of the money donated, then you have an exact amount to cut in half.
Yeah.
That physically and visibly will lower the amount, and that might not be as stressful for you. So I think that could be helpful as well.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's helpful for me to hear that too, because sometimes I get into like an all or nothing thinking.
Mm-hmm.
What life isn't all or nothing.
No, not at all.
So yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't think I think we're very much on a spectrum. We're going up and down and up and down. So I think even with the 3-week thing as well that you were saying earlier, I think it could be helpful just to segment it maybe a little bit. Maybe say in 2 weeks I want to get a quarter of the funding, or something. Maybe not that specific example, but
Yeah.
that could be helpful as well to kind of
Yeah.
compartmentalize it a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. Break it down into smaller parts.
Makes it a little bit more manageable.
Have you ever heard the saying, how do you eat an elephant?
No. Oh, I have, but I don't know what the response for it is.
One bite at a time.
Yeah, I think that's what this issue kind of is.
Yeah.
Is exactly that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good to remember. Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to go over with this kind of conflict, or?
Yeah, I think we covered everything. One element in the back of my mind of like when you kept actually what I think, when you actually what do I think I could do, and I said I don't have anything so then I asked you.
Mm-hmm.
One thought that came to my mind is like my biggest donor and mentor, who happens to be my surrogate father.
Okay.
I one element I need to proactively call him
Yeah.
and brainstorm with him. He's a real smart Air Force pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
You haven't called him yet, then?
oh no. I've talked to him. He's one of the people that's given me like good advice. I just needed one element when he actually what I should do.
Mhm.
I need to call him again. I need to.
I agree. I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered a lot of stuff that's going to be good for this
Yeah.
issue in your life. But going back to earlier, what else has been going on?
All right. Thank you for asking. Let's see
Yeah.
here. So it's that, and let's see here. School's going good. I feel good about all my classes.
Mm-hmm.
Getting good grades like you by the grace of God. Worship service was great today. Like
Mhm.
you've had good worship experience the last couple of days
Yeah.
with the resurrection. Let's see here, what else? What else? Um, wow, the sun is coming.
It's starting to get in your eyes.
Yeah, you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it slowly going up and up.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I know this is unorthodox, but I can't even like see you. Can we? I don't want you to. Let's see here.
You're fine. Yeah, it's starting to get bright on the camera too.
Oh wow, yeah, it is bright on the camera.
Fix this.
We could just
We could rotate.
yeah,
Yeah, let's do that.
or maybe
Gonna have to cut this in half. Repost it.
there we go. Good thinking. Quick thinking. I guess Dr. Ewan could evaluate us on how we
How we
adjusted to the situation because this can happen in a real session, right?
Yeah, I could. You scoot this
We
way.
have to anticipate the unexpected and then
That
get
should
back
be
to it. That's good, yeah.
Yeah, it should be fine.
All right.
Where were we?
What else has been going on in my life?
Yes,
Let's
yes.
see here.
Lots of good things.
So yeah, I remember like the first or second session I had with you. You
Mhm.
helped me to, what my friend has been helping me with in reference to seeing like myself in story.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been practicing that as well, just seeing myself in story because like I told you, I have a tendency to get into this all or nothing
Yeah.
sort of thinking, which is like it's restrictive and rigid, whereas
Mhm.
story is more fluid and helps me to with perspective
Yeah.
and just seeing things proportionately and accurately and well
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
soberly. So
Yeah,
I've been
and that could be
practicing
good.
that.
That's good. How has that kind of been going? What have you been doing to
Um,
practice?
like when I like run into a problem and rather than get like locked in a sort of thinking pattern,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like I like remind myself to see it as just part of a story, and that
Yeah.
helps bring perspective in the moment, and hence help my ability to adapt to the situation
Sure,
better.
sure. What do you kind of think puts you into this rigid thinking pattern?
All or nothing thinking, that what I've been practicing for since I was young, and
Yeah.
like we're creatures of habit.
Sure,
So
sure.
yeah, so to answer your question more directly, what do you think? What I think puts me in that thing? Anxiety
Mm-hmm.
inducing situation.
Fear of failure, maybe.
Yeah, like perfectionistic sort of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's something that we want to work on as going forward.
Yes.
I think that can be very beneficial for you.
Thank you.
And there's some things that we can do to kind of work on that. First thing, do you journal?
Wow.
I've seen you do a little bit of scratch paper stuff with books and stuff, but journaling could be helpful with that.
Yeah.
Have you journaled?
Yes, I do.
What's your experience been with that kind of?
It's very helpful.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the process?
Yeah. Well, one practice I've been practicing like since the beginning of the semester.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Ewing told us how she practiced with one of her friends for about 4 years. Every single day,
Mm-hmm.
write down 3 things that you are thankful for.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that since the beginning of the semester, and it's really been helpful. It's like it's increased my capacity to not just like I'm good at expressing Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I miss the feeling, but it's enlarged my capacity to not just express thankfulness, but actually
Mhm.
feel thankful.
Walk me through what that means. You feel you can express thankfulness, but you don't necessarily feel it.
Yeah. Sometimes, like my parents did a good job raising me with manners,
Mhm.
and manners, please and thank you. So I'm good at, with manners, expressing things, giving to whether it's others, or even God.
Yeah.
I'm good at, praising God, expressing praise in worship.
Yeah.
However, like, I, as a result of my journaling of, like actually writing out what I'm thankful for, three elements every day, I actually, like, I could feel, like, the feeling of thankfulness.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So you have felt that sometimes it's very easy for you to express and have good manners,
Yeah.
not because you necessarily feel the way the manners are being expressed, but because you feel expected to.
Yeah.
And so now the journaling has helped you feel that expression instead of just saying something.
Exactly.
Okay. I think that's wonderful.
Thanks.
I think another thing that you could do outside of the 3 things a day would just be to jot down maybe small things that happen throughout your day. I think that could be good for that as well. So like if you walk into a building and someone holds the door open for you, you say thank you in passing and you don't really think about it. I think other than that, a lot of people, that happens to them and it's not a big deal. Jotting that down and kind of having an active role in acknowledging it could be helpful as well with that. Stuff like that.
Yeah. That's real good.
Yeah. Would
Thank
you be
you.
willing to try that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, let me, and let you disclose more of my journaling experience. So it's not just that. I've actually been consciously every day thinking about stuff like that and writing down what one positive element that's happened to me and one negative thing that's happened to me. So that would be kind of included in what you just said. And what else? There's one more other thing that I've been doing daily besides those. Oh yeah, and I've been consciously, like, in the moment when I journal, I think about how I'm feeling in the moment and just make sure I
take note of that.
Take note of that. Yeah, journal that.
What has the writing down of the negative thing that happened to you than the current day? What has that done for you?
It helps me become more self-aware and more accepting of even, like, negative emotions, because I came to the realization that I don't, because of my rigid all or nothing sort of thinking pattern, I notice I don't allow myself or permit myself to feel feelings, especially negative feelings.
Sure.
However, the best way to move past, like, an unpleasant feeling is to first feel it. Yeah.
So you say you don't feel the negative. I was gonna ask if you are almost catastrophizing. If you know what I mean when I say that.
Kind of generalizing.
No, more in the way that when something bad goes on, it's really, really bad, and it's gonna ruin everything.
Yeah.
That's what as in you're making everything a catastrophe.
Right.
Do you feel that you ever do that?
Yes.
So has writing the negative stuff down kind of helped you realize that, bad things happen. Not all of them are going to kill me or blow up my car or whatever may happen, right? It
exactly.
Kind of, I don't want to say humanize a negative thing, but makes it more manageable.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, good job.
That's great. I think another thing we could do with the journaling, and it may help with this all or nothing kind of behavior and thinking pattern that you've expressed. I think that it was kind of like what we said earlier with the budgeting stuff. I think goal setting would be incredibly helpful for you. Like I said earlier, I think if we can try and establish not necessarily just homework, but also, okay, we have a 3-week deadline to get some of this funding stuff going. Let's try and figure out what is a realistic number do you think that you'd be satisfied with. That's not 100%. So let's say 75% of the tuition. Did you think that's a realistic number that you could do in 3 weeks?
That's pushing it, but yes.
What would your number be, kind of, do you think?
75, like, you want me to just tell you what 75% of the money
No. I'm saying,
I don't mind telling you.
what percent, I kind of know the number because I have the same tuition, but what do you think you'd be happy with? Because obviously we have this big number to chip down at.
Yeah, it's interesting that you asked that because as I was thinking about it when you said that, when you said 75%, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go 75%.
Yeah.
So we have 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it really easy on the math. It might be helpful for you to kind of calendar or notebook kind of what is 25% going to look like this week, and how am I going to get there?
Got it.
Same with next week, and you restart obviously next week you have your newsletter going out, so that could be more than 25%. But doing that's going to break it up a little bit instead of one big $37,000, whatever the number is exactly, hole that's hanging over your head.
Yeah.
It's going to be 10,000 now.
Right.
You know, so that could be helpful.
Yeah.
In the process of how to tackle this.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to go over today, or
How much more time do we have?
we got a little bit more?
Okay. Let's see here, because I definitely want to capitalize on all the time.
Sure.
That I So yeah, we went over the budgeting and my issue and seeing myself in story. What else? I'll put it in your court because I can't think of anything else.
Mhm.
Do you see any potential blinders?
I think that you should go see your financial advisor.
Okay.
If you haven't already, I think we can sit here and talk all day about strategies and what we want to do, but I think you're asking me a lot of questions that would be much better answered by a financial advisor.
Yeah.
I'm happy to try and help, but I might not be the most informed, so I think that could be very helpful. But no, I mean, I think you've expressed a lot of things that you want to improve in your life,
Mhm.
and you've also expressed a lot of action towards changing some of these things.
Yeah.
Like the rigid thinking, for example, you've been making changes towards that, or even with this massive problem we've been talking about the last 2 sessions, you've been working towards that a lot.
The massive what?
The massive problem with the funding.
Got it.
You've expressed that you've been working towards that and chipping away at that a little bit. So I think we're moving in the right direction.
Mhm.
I think we just kind of need to be patient and keep it up and take it one step at a time. Like you said, eat the elephant one bite at a time, right?
Amen.
I think that's what we should be doing moving forward.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mike.
Yes. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Absolutely,
So-
brother.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
I appreciate it. All right. That went by quick. I think I made up for the lost time
Oh yeah.
on that move, the movement.